We have been telling you about a body parts found in the trunk of a Tesla owned by the singer David. We now know who the victim is in this case, and there are a lot of twists and turns.
Apparently, the victim was David's girlfriend, Celeste Rivas. In a shocking twist, new party footage has surfaced showing the couple getting cozy just hours before the murder. Now, questions are being asked. Was it a lover's quarrel gone wrong, or is there more to the story? We got all the details right here. Let's break it down. The murder revelation. When headlines first linked David's name to the death of a teenage girl, reaction was disbelief. For years, he was seen as the quiet breakout artist, a prodigy whose songs carried melancholy, but not menace. Yet, beneath the surface of his rapid ascent, fragments of a darker story began to surface. A story in which art, life, and tragedy blurred until the truth could no longer be ignored. The story begins with a car left abandoned in the Hollywood Hills. Residents noticed a vehicle parked in the same spot for days, unmoving, windows shut, giving off a faint but unmistakable odor. The car, a Tesla, was eventually towed by authorities after 3 days in violation of local parking rules. Once at the impound lot, the staff noticed the stench intensifying. Upon opening the trunk, the discovery was horrifying. Dismembered human remains sealed in a bag. The vehicle's registration led investigators to its owner, David Anthony Burke, known globally by his stage name, David, a 20-year-old breakout indie musician from Houston. Police confirmed the car was registered in his name, instantly transforming the story from an unknown Jane Doe discovery into a celebrity-linked homicide investigation. The public shock was immediate. Initial police statements described the remains as being badly decomposed. Identification was difficult, but one detail stood out. A tattoo on the victim's right index finger etched in red ink reading SH. This clue was released before the victim's name. It was Celeste's mother who stepped forward. She told investigators that her missing daughter bore the same tattoo. And crucially, she revealed her daughter had a boyfriend named David. Within days, the remains were confirmed to be those of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, who had been reported missing the previous year after multiple runaway incidents. Her final disappearance was different.
We have been telling you about a body parts found in the trunk of a Tesla owned by the singer David. We now know who the victim is in this case, and there are a lot of twists and turns.
Yes, the victim, as it turns out, is a 15-year-old girl named Celeste Rivas.
The parallels between Celeste and David extended beyond the tattoo. Photos circulated online showing David himself with the same SH tattoo on his right index finger. His version was in black ink, but its placement was identical. Though the tattoo style was popularized by celebrities like Rihanna and Lindsay Lohan, the coincidence fueled speculation of an intimate connection between the singer and the underage victim. The mother's statement compounded suspicion. She insisted her daughter's last known interactions involved a boyfriend named David. And though she never personally met him, she described the eerie detail of her daughter leaving with him one evening, never to return. While law enforcement maintained caution, refusing to label David a suspect or even a person of interest at that stage, the narrative spiraled online. Academics
It really all started when a Tesla was impounded in a Los Angeles tow yard. Inside the trunk contained the human remains of a 15-year-old girl who had been missing since last summer 2024, named Celeste Rivas.
Forensic teams noted the car had been parked in the Hollywood Hills before being towed. Reports indicated the Tesla was left near a house linked to David's management, later searched by LAPD homicide detectives who removed a computer and evidence bag. This proximity between the car's location and his known residence added another layer of suspicion. Despite the discovery, David did not immediately address the matter. He continued his ongoing tour, performing in multiple cities. TMZ noted that only after public pressure did he cancel select dates.
The latest thing about David, as we said, police have not named him, but we do know that he canceled for the first time since all of this has been going on. He canceled a show. He had another one scheduled in Seattle tonight.
The incongruity was striking while headlines screamed about a dismembered girl in his car. David was seen on stage distributing merchandise to cheering fans. This disconnect heightened suspicion. How could a performer continue as if untouched by scandal when the trunk of his own car was the crime scene? The timeline made matters worse. Celeste had gone missing over a year prior in April 2024 when she was just 13. Her body was only recovered in September 2025. The implication that she could have been dead for much of that period hidden in a vehicle tied to David raised unanswerable questions. The contradictions in law enforcement's approach did little to quiet speculation. Police confirmed that multiple individuals had access to David's vehicles, but they also confirmed that the Tesla had not been reported stolen. This meant David or someone close to him knew of its whereabouts. Yet, despite this, he remained free, cooperating, but not charged.
I mean, how this guy could not be a person of interest, I do not know. Like, if there had to be at least one person of interest in this situation, it would be him.
Confusion, adding to suspicion, David's artistic catalog suddenly became evidence in the court of public opinion. Fans revisited his breakout track Romantic Homicide, whose lyrics included the line, "In the back of my mind, you died." Though David had previously explained this as metaphorical storytelling, the coincidence now seemed sinister. Music videos were also re-examined. In one, he places a body in the trunk of a car. In stage performances, he incorporated funeral imagery, including caskets and wreaths. Though likely conceived as theatrical metaphors, audiences now saw these as confessions hidden in plain sight. The investigation also revealed that Celeste had been mentioned in leaked material. A song allegedly titled Celeste, written in late 2023, contained chilling references to her name and presence. Whether authentic or fabricated, its circulation online only deepened the belief that David had both personal and artistic ties to the victim. Compounding suspicion were the digital traces, Discord messages, alleged iCloud leaks, and photos showed David interacting with a girl resembling Celeste. Screenshots suggested her presence in his servers as early as 2022, when she would have been around 11. If true, this placed their association years before her death, making the case even more disturbing.
The LAPD Homicide Division is investigating this case. They still have not said it's a murder.
Correct. Meaning that
they
don't know the cause of death.
Despite dismemberment and concealment in a bag inside a trunk, officials maintained caution, avoiding premature charges. Their stance frustrated the public, who saw the act of dismembering as self-evident evidence of foul play. The Tesla itself became a focal point with its advanced surveillance features, external cameras, location tracking, and event data storage. Commentators speculated it held crucial evidence. Academics noted
this goddamn Tesla should be the key. If this is the case, if David did this, he's the dumbest nigga on earth. Why the hell would you go in Elon's on-road spaceship that records everything and go do a crime and then leave the body in the trunk?
Public attention now turned not only to David himself, but to the gaps in the story. How could a car tied to him sit abandoned for months, reeking of decomposition without intervention? Why was he still free to perform? And how could his music, long celebrated for its emotional rawness, now appear as prophetic confession? By the middle of September 2025, the murder revelation was not just a crime story. It was a cultural shockwave. A rising star once hailed as the voice of disaffected youth was now entangled in one of the most disturbing celebrity-linked cases in recent memory. The truth was beginning to surface, but the deeper context, his rise, his relationship with Celeste, and the trail of evidence would unravel in the chapters that followed. The disturbing connection. With the revelation that 15-year-old Celeste Rivas had been found dismembered in a Tesla registered to David, the public focus shifted from shock to scrutiny. The question was no longer only what happened, but how deeply was he connected to her? To answer that, investigators in online communities began piecing together fragments of his history, his digital trail, and his art, uncovering a disturbing web that blurred the line between personal relationships and public performance. Celeste's timeline provided the first clues. She had been reported missing multiple times, but her disappearance in April 2024 was permanent. She was just 13 years old. For over a year, she remained absent from home until her body was identified in September 2025. Her mother's testimony reinforced the suspicion that David had been involved as she directly referenced a boyfriend named David connected to her daughter's final outings. The discovery of matching tattoos amplified the narrative. Celeste's tattoo SH inked in red on her right index finger was identical in placement to David's own black ink version on the same finger.
We found photos from last September where he has on his pointer finger of his right hand
the same finger as hers.
The same exact finger, the exact same tattoo. It's in black, so it's not red ink.
ChatGPT said. While the tattoo had been popularized by celebrities years earlier, the fact that both bore it suggested a connection beyond chance. Online sleuths soon uncovered digital evidence linking the two. Screenshots emerged from Discord servers where Celeste allegedly interacted with David. According to leaked conversations, she was present as early as 2022, when she would have been around 11 years old. These servers appeared filled with young fans with David directly engaging. Allegations followed that he even compensated certain users to remain silent about his interactions with him. Images from Discord along with leaked iCloud photos appeared to show David alongside a girl resembling Celeste. Some leaks dated back to 2023, others closer to her disappearance. The authenticity of all these materials remained debated, but the volume of
Photos started popping up saying it was the two of them together like this one. There was also a bunch more pics and videos that leaked that showed David with a girl that resembled this girl.
the leaks extended beyond imagery. Alleged direct messages between Celeste and David painted a troubling picture of their relationship dynamic. In one, she reportedly complained about her parents restricting her from attending his shows, stating, "My parents are so annoying." He allegedly replied with reassurance, promising to fix it. If authentic, these messages placed him in contact with her while she was unmistakably underage. Further complicating matters was the circulation of an unreleased track allegedly titled Celeste. Lyrics attributed to the song included chilling references, "Smell her on my clothes," "I say it hurts," and "Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest." Whether real or AI generated, the timing of the leak, combined with his known lyrical themes, fueled a sense of foreboding. Even his most famous song, Romantic Homicide, was re-examined under this lens. David had previously explained
The hook, in the back of my mind, you died. I didn't kill her physically, but in the back of my mind, she died.
Yet, with the discovery of Celeste's body in his trunk, that lyric shifted from artistic expression to possible confession. Other lyrics surfaced with darker resonance. A leaked track referenced obsession, possession, and the smell of a lover's presence lingering like cigarettes. His TikTok reposts, seemingly innocuous at the time, were retroactively seen as disturbing. One read, "Imagine we were two cannibals in the late 8s. Then you died and I ate your bone." Another, "Me watching her scream after I poured boiling water on her after she told a boy happy birthday." These posts, once dismissed as dark internet humor, took on sinister implications. Live performances also came under review. Fans documented that he staged concerts with funeral imagery, caskets, wreaths, and mournful atmospheres. At the time, these were seen as theatrical flourishes to match his melancholic music, but in retrospect, they appeared macabre, as if
He was bringing a casket, a wreath, and a notepad. That's kind of crazy, given the fact that he was using some type of imagery of a funeral at his shows. But if it's true, the girl that got killed, she didn't get a funeral.
witness testimony further connected him to Celeste. A teacher from her school publicly stated that she had vanished after meeting a rapper named David. The teacher described how Celeste disappeared for a month, returned briefly after police intervention, and then vanished again in 2024. When the teacher learned of her death, she identified David as the same individual her students had mentioned. This account established not only that Celeste knew him, but that their association predated her final disappearance. Even Reddit threads became sources of information. On September 8, 2025, the day news of the Tesla discovery broke. A user posted that a missing girl from Lake Elsinore had been last seen with David. The post suggested she had been exploited by older figures and expressed fear she might be the body in his car. Initially dismissed as speculation, it later appeared eerily accurate. These connections pushed fans, critics, and media outlets to reconsider the boundary between David's art and his life. His catalog was reinterpreted as a breadcrumb trail. Music videos featuring disappearances and grief, lyrics about death and possession, stage designs evoking funerals, all were reevaluated as potential evidence. To many, it seemed as though he had been embedding confessions in plain sight. The circumstantial case strengthened with his online silence. Following the discovery, David refrained from commenting directly. His last social media post before the news broke was cryptic, consisting only of the numbers 6 and 7. The meaning was unclear, but its proximity to the revelation of Celeste's death prompted speculation. Fans interpreted it as symbolic, a countdown, or even a coded acknowledgement. Meanwhile, brands that had collaborated with him quickly severed ties. Crocs and Hollister dropped campaigns featuring his music. Other sponsors and influencers unfollowed him across platforms.
He's not a suspect. Tesla. I don't think it's him because he's been on tour.
Yet days later, Jason joined the wave of unfollows. The LAPD continued to maintain procedural caution. Despite searching his residence and seizing devices, they did not immediately label him a suspect. Officials stated that multiple people had access to his cars and the Tesla had not been reported stolen. Still, this position frustrated the public who viewed the body's discovery in his trunk as self-evident grounds for charges. The Tesla's technology promised answers. With external cameras, GPS data, and cloud event recording, the car could theoretically provide a timeline of who drove it, where it traveled, and when the trunk was accessed.
Teslas are
Have a lot
very
of technology.
sophisticated cars. You could at least see who dropped that car off.
Who was driving it? Perhaps you might be able to see who put the body
body in
parts
the trunk.
into the...
Investigators reportedly subpoenaed Tesla for this data, but at the time of reporting, no results had been released. The proximity of the Tesla to David's rented Hollywood Hills residence only added to suspicion. Police confirmed the car had been parked less than 100 feet from the house before being towed. This raised the likelihood that Celeste's body was stored within reach of his known location. Amid this speculation about motive remained unresolved, some theorized the relationship had soured, leading to violence. Others suggested blackmail or manipulation was involved, pointing to alleged messages from Celeste's peers, indicating attempts to extort David for money in exchange for silence. Still others raised the possibility of a setup, though the evidence leaned heavily against such an explanation. What became clear was that David and Celeste were connected by more than coincidence. Digital trails, eyewitness accounts, tattoos, leaked media, and even his own lyrics converged into a disturbing picture. Whether or not he was directly responsible for her death, he was undeniably intertwined with her life, and with the circumstances that ended it. By late September 2025, the case had shifted from tragedy to obsession. Fans dissected every lyric, every post, every photo. Media outlets mined archives for symbolism. Police worked methodically while the public demanded swift justice. The disturbing connection between David and Celeste had surfaced, and it was impossible to unsee. But this was only the beginning. The investigation would intensify. Family members would speak, collaborators would retreat, and Tesla's data would loom as the silent witness. The next chapter would reveal how the truth of this connection reshaped not only the case, but the public's perception of David himself. The truth surfaces. By late September 2025, the murder of Celeste Rivas had transformed from a shocking discovery into a sprawling investigation that consumed media cycles, fan communities, and law enforcement resources. With the victim identified, the body traced to a Tesla registered to David, and digital evidence linking the two, the case entered a new phase. The question shifted from whether there was a connection to how deep that connection ran and whether the truth would ever emerge in full. The LAPD formally transferred the case to its robbery-homicide division, confirming it was being treated as a homicide. Yet, police remained cautious in their public statements. Officials reiterated that the cause of death had not yet been determined. Despite the
The LAPD Homicide Division is investigating this case. They still have not said it's a murder.
Correct. Meaning that
they
don't know the cause of death.
This procedural neutrality frustrated the public. As commentators pointed out, accidental deaths do not typically result in dismembered remains hidden in a trunk. The very act of concealment suggested intent.
If someone fell down the stairs and broke their neck in an accident, why would you dismember the body?
Right.
Yet, the absence of formal charges allowed David to remain free, at least temporarily. One of the most compelling threads was the Tesla itself. With cameras on every side, GPS tracking, and advanced data storage, investigators
Teslas are very sophisticated cars.
Right.
And there have got to be pictures, you would think, because there are
cameras all over it. And we know that the Tesla has a lot of information. There's data that police can get.
Law enforcement reportedly subpoenaed Tesla for its data, seeking timestamp footage and location records. The car, abandoned within 100 feet of a residence linked to David's management, was positioned as the silent witness to the crime. Parallel to the forensic investigation were the testimonies of those who had known Celeste. Her mother had already spoken, confirming the tattoo and naming David as her daughter's boyfriend. Her teacher provided further detail, recounting how Celeste first disappeared after meeting him, returned briefly after being found in Hollywood, and then vanished again in 2024, never to return. According to this account, Celeste openly told peers that she had met the Houston-born rapper on social media. The alleged involvement of her family surfaced through online speculation. A widely circulated Reddit post from September 8, 2025 claimed that Celeste's older sister had been exploiting her, introducing her to older men and facilitating her disappearance. Though unverified, the post's accuracy in predicting that Celeste was the body in David's Tesla gave it weight. If true, it suggested a wider context of exploitation surrounding the case. Celeste's brother also became a focus. Users reported that he was contacted directly after her identity was revealed, and he allegedly claimed that the family had attempted to involve police earlier, but were dismissed due to lack of evidence. Whether authentic or not, these claims fed the narrative of systemic failure, that warning signs were ignored until it was too late. The cultural fallout for David was immediate. Brands, including Crocs and Hollister, cut ties. Collaborators who had once defended him reversed their positions. Jason the Wine, who only days earlier declared his belief in David's innocence, unfollowed him publicly. Other influencers, celebrities, and music industry figures distanced themselves. His label, Inner Cope, remained silent, but speculation mounted about his contractual future. Meanwhile, his fan base fractured. Younger audiences who had propelled him to fame through platforms like TikTok now found themselves divided between defending their idol and condemning him. TikTok comments and Twitter threads became battlegrounds of interpretation. One user declared, "He's 20 and she was 15. He's a pedophile and a murderer. He needs to be locked up now." Another countered with skepticism, "I'm usually an innocent until proven guilty type of person. But with the amount of evidence against David, you're delusional if you think he's innocent." David's silence only deepened suspicion. He refrained from statements, appearances, or explanations. His last post before the news broke, a cryptic 6 and 7, became the subject of speculation. Fans theorized it referenced dates, codes, or even a countdown. Without clarification, it became another puzzle piece in a narrative already oversaturated with ambiguity. The recontextualization of his art continued. Fans dissected not just romantic homicide, but also his stagecraft and online reposts. Videos showed him carrying caskets onto stages, performing in funeral settings, and incorporating imagery of death. Lyrics once interpreted as symbolic heartbreak were now read as literal.
But this guy kind of seems a little bit sadistic, like he was trying to get caught.
Others argued the interpretation was retrospective bias, where audiences imposed meaning after the fact. Regardless, the perception of his work had irreversibly shifted. Theories proliferated online. Some insisted it was a straightforward case of exploitation, violence, and concealment. Others suggested blackmail was involved, citing alleged messages from Celeste's friends describing attempts to extort him. A smaller group clung to the idea of a setup. But the physical evidence, the car, the tattoo, the photos, the leaks, weighed heavily against that defense, even if he had not directly caused her death. The evidence suggested at minimum that he maintained an inappropriate relationship with her. As commentators noted, this alone would make him culpable in the eyes.
Even if he wasn't involved in her passing, it does seem like they dated or were very close based on everything we know, which at the very least, allegedly, would make David a pedophile.
As weeks passed, the investigation's slow pace contrasted with the internet's hunger for resolution. The LAPD had confiscated electronics, subpoenaed Tesla, and searched his residence. But without public charges, speculation filled the vacuum. Fans tracked his tour cancellations, his social media activity, and his associates' reactions for any sign of movement. The broader consequences of the case extended beyond one artist. It reignited debates about the vulnerability of young fans in parasocial relationships, the responsibility of platforms like Discord and TikTok in moderating interactions, and the music industry's duty to vet its rising stars. Critics pointed out that many of his fans were themselves teenagers, raising ethical questions about the imbalance of power between artist and audience. By October 2025, the truth that had surfaced was not definitive closure, but a constellation of disturbing facts. Celeste and David were connected through tattoos, through digital evidence, through witnesses, through leaks. Her body was found in his Tesla, dismembered and hidden. He continued to tour, silent in public while brands, collaborators, and fans withdrew. Police held data and devices that could clarify the narrative, but their findings remained sealed. The case stood unresolved, but its cultural impact was complete. David, once a breakout artist celebrated for melancholic authenticity, was now the center of one of the darkest intersections of celebrity, fandom, and crime in recent history. Whether guilty of murder, guilty of exploitation, or guilty of silence, the truth that surfaced had already transformed his career, his reputation, and the memory of the girl whose name was now inseparable from his own. The revelation of Celeste's murder began with a smell from an abandoned Tesla. It ended, at least for now, with the haunting realization that fame, art, and tragedy had converged in ways no one could ignore. The investigation would continue. Answers might come, but the disturbing connection and the cultural shockwave it caused ensured that David's name would forever be spoken in the same breath as the truth that had surfaced. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.